Okay, let's play with the forearm stand today. So I'm going to go through some cool variations, some this type of thing, but we're going to cover the basics first. So go through hand position, elbow position, shoulder position, how to go in and out of the position, and just investigate the forearm stand. So let's jump in. To start with, I'm just going to go with the basic version. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to have my hands and my elbows in line, and I'm going to create a square for the base. So what that means is I'm going to be here like this, so my elbows are underneath my shoulders, my hands are in line with my elbows, and we create a square there. And then the goal is to be able to come up into that position. So there. So we use that as our home position number one. We're just going to see if we can all get into this position. So, and use that as our base, and then we can play around with it a little bit and look at the options with the forearm stand. If you're not comfortable going up into that position freestanding, we can do it in two ways using the wall or a box. We can go back to wall, which is just your standard version, like a kick up. So there, just remember when you do this, you will kick up much easier than when you're in a handstand. So don't give it as much power because you will smash into the wall. So there's that version. So back to wall. We could turn it the other way around and go chest to wall, which you can get up a lot slower. So same thing with the hand position, elbow position. I push and I can just come into that position and just get some time there. It feels a lot safer because I can keep more weight into the feet. The other version is to do the same thing, but on the box. So I can come there and then I can step onto it. And that can just get me comfortable for that loading of that position. But then I recommend that you either go to the freestanding version or the kicking up version. Some things to think about is, so when I talk about the base of support, so this square we've created, think that's what we've created in terms of your balance point. That's what makes the forearm stand easier than a handstand. So it has a big base and we're also closer to the floor. What a lot of people do when they struggle is they don't use the base anymore. So what they're doing is they'll be more like this. So their hands might be on the floor, but there's no weight in their hands. So all their weight in their elbows. They're basically doing a elbow stand. They're just on their elbows. So their base support is much, much smaller. Or they'll go the other way, have all of their weight in their hands. And what you'll commonly see with this is that instead of having the square position, they change it to a triangle. So the hands are together. So we're in this position. So they might be contacted. Some people even cup their head in that position. So we can try that now. So instead of being in a square position, it's not wrong, but all that happens is we make the base of support a little bit smaller. Now it's a triangle. Now what we have to be careful with that is we've gone into internal rotation. So we could fall out of that position easier than external rotation. That's a stronger position for the shoulders and the scapula. So let's just try that. So triangle position, same thing. So either up against the wall, back to wall, chest to wall on the box. But now I'm going to touch hands and I'm going to have the elbows apart. Don't go too wide because we don't want to go into that internal rotation too far. And then same thing, up into that position. And come back down with control. So either chest to wall, back to wall, have a go with that triangle position. So we have a square, we have a triangle. So when we're there, we can think about your shoulder position. So I could stack my shoulders this way. So when I'm in it, so I'm going to open the shoulders, or I could stack my shoulders that way, which is closing the position. Now, both have benefits, but what we want to have is a range. So we want to be able to go between the open shoulder and that closed position and still hold balance. And then we can use them in different ways. Simple way of thinking about it is I'm going to change where my weight is distributed in this base of support. So if I have my shoulders forwards, I'm sitting more into the middle of it. If I push open, I have to lean back to keep that weight in the middle of that base of support. I'm going to try and open the shoulders and come back. So I can even use that as like a shoulder opening exercise. Now, if I want to go deeper into that position where the shoulders are on top of the elbows, I could arch the body even more over and then puts a lot more demand on the shoulders because I have to push the shoulders even more this way because my feet are going over in that direction. So I'll try and show that with my great flexibility of my back. I'm joking, my extension's not great. So there, I can go backwards there. So I'm pushing the shoulders and the back towards the box, and then obviously try and come back out of that. So we've got different hand positions we can explore. We have different shoulder positions and loading in different places in that base support. We can obviously play with the legs positions. You can go through all your normal leg positions in your handstand. You can go straddle, you can go diamond, you can try and do eccentric presses and things. One more thing we'll quickly go through is just a split position, just to get you to think about that base support a little bit differently. So if I go normal with this arm and then I go straight with this arm, I've still created a triangle, but now it's just a long triangle. So the base support is actually still quite big. So when I'm there, as long as I use that left hand, I can hold in that position. That one's not too bad. Now, obviously, if you do that, you want to make sure you do it on the other side. Another variation we can do the same thing. So the triangle's there. I can make it a bit smaller, but now I have this arm bent as well. So I'm here. So that's a little bit different variation of the same thing. We still have that triangle, but it's like a half forearm stand because now I'm on one hand and I'm on one forearm. I'm not going to go through it in great detail, but we can work up to, if we have a strong handstand, we can slowly go down to that position quite easily. It's much easier than an eccentric handstand push-up in terms of strength. You just need to keep the balance in the right place. So that's the last thing I'm going to cover. So we could be in our handstand here. So watch the rotation here. So I'm going to start to bring that right elbow towards the floor. I'm bending the left arm as I come down, and then I can finish there on that. And I've still got equal weight between the forearm and the left hand. So that's a little cool one to work towards. Obviously, we need to have that strong base at the bottom for the forearm stand, and we need to have that strong handstand and just control on the way down, and also be comfortable to bail out because you could fall out in most directions with that one. So that's the forearm stand. Any questions, stick them in the comments below or message me. Thumbs up and subscribe will be appreciated, and I'll speak to you next time. Thanks, guys.